right, guys, another episode of Weddings Unfiltered. We are hanging out with Brenda from Brenda Babe Bridal. That's a mouthful. There's a lot of B's in there.
Yeah. It's easy to remember though.
Yes,
which I like.
very much.
Yeah.
And at the beginning of the alphabet, so you
I was
should
just
be
gonna say.
pretty high on the
It
searches.
gives me a nice little boost.
Yes. I'm Ron with Buffalo Bartenders, and always we have Heather with Upstate Eddie Weddings.
Hey,
I didn't
guys.
screw it up today, so that is
Thank
awesome.
you.
Let's dive into this.
Yeah.
I don't know how much I'm gonna be able to add today to this conversation. So
No.
you two might be doing a lot of back and forth.
I'm excited. This is like my
Yeah.
favorite
I missed the
part
last.
of the wedding planning process is the dress. So
I missed the last dress conversation.
you did.
So here we are.
Here we are.
All right, let's get this rolling. What inspired your name and your journey into owning your boutique?
So Brenda Babe Bridal. Brenda Babe, it's kind of silly, like you said. It's a mouthful, but Brenda Babe was actually the nickname that my grandfather gave me when I was a kid.
I love that.
So exactly. So it was never, when I started thinking about putting the business together and actually going through it, the name was never an issue because that was always, I wanted to make something totally authentic, totally me, something relatable and something that was easy to remember, kind of cutesy, but that would also set the tone. And because it was such a personal thing for me, so I wanted to honor my grandfather. I lost him when I was only like 10, 11 years old. So, and he was one of those, oh my gosh, he was just the man's man. My grandmother was such a lucky woman. He just took care of her, and he was the gold standard. So it was always I wanted to pay homage to that as well too.
I love that.
So weddings in general, and here's where I go, because I do feel very strongly about this. Not a lot of people realize what they really want to do or what really sparks them at an early age. I can tell you, I always knew that there was something about the wedding industry, and it takes it as far back to when Princess Diana married Prince Charles.
Oh, the iconic.
Iconic.
Right? Everyone got up
Iconic.
at what, midnight or
Yes,
whatever it was.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm
wouldn't
clapping,
know
right?
that stuff, so.
You
Work
work
with us.
Give it-
Go with
I'm
us,
listening.
right?
I'm
He's
listening.
like, yes,
I'm
yes.
learning something today.
Your alarm didn't go off in the middle of the night to
No.
get up and
Get
watch
out.
the news.
Yeah, and see it because it was
No.
such an event.
You're such a boy.
He's like, but I'll listen, right?
Yeah.
So my mom, actually, to your point, my mom woke me up because I wanted to see this. Now, I'm just a little something. And I will never forget just the cameras and the carriage ride and that excitement and the magic. Like, what is she wearing? What is she going to look like? And when she walked out of that carriage and it kept coming a 25-foot long train, the ornate detail, the dress, the tiara, the children behind her, and just coming into the ceremony and the music and the magic. I literally, as a kid, look at me, I'm still
Yeah,
over
no, me
there.
too.
It's the social media wedding before the social media.
Before
age.
social media, yes,
Yeah.
100%, because you were
Real-life
glued to your
Disney.
TV.
Mhm.
It was real life Disney.
Princess.
You know what I mean? You saw
Yes.
it animated on TV when you were so
Yeah.
little, and then like, oh my God, this really happens.
It's a real
Look
life
at her.
princess.
Yeah.
And it was everything about it. It was everything about it, but that dress, and it was just like, and a lot of people have opinions on that dress to this day.
Mhm.
But I will tell you, I was just in awe of that. And from that moment, I just knew, not that I'm thinking about a career at 10 years old,
Right.
but that clicked and it moved me and it inspired me and it did something to me. So, going through life, I kind of always fell back. I'm like, I love the wedding industry, but I didn't know where I would fit in. I didn't know what kind of piece I would play or what I could bring to it, but I just knew how much I love weddings. I love the magic. And so at one point I actually had, I was a wedding planner for a while, I kind of dove in, did some things like that and loved it, did some things like that. And, but it was always more side gig work. It was something back then, it was to go to college, get a
Make a little
paycheck.
money.
Yeah, get your steady paycheck, mom and dad, I love it. We didn't have any entrepreneurial real support. So it was just always, nope, you go, you get your degree, you go get that good banking job or something and that's what you do. So that's kind of where I was, and but I always just felt like I needed to do something else with this. And life happens, unfortunately, and you find yourself as a single mom with 2 boys, so kind of that dream kind of gets put down and you're just focused on that steady paycheck and benefits and you do what you have to do.
Yeah.
But the dream never died because I was always thinking about something. So at one point, I found myself hired by a large retail bridal chain, wedding dress chain. I don't like to ever really name names.
Yeah.
But, and I loved it. That's where I kind of was getting closer to, I may be able to do something with this. I loved my coworkers. I loved the whole aspect of the dress piece, which I'm like, wow, we can actually make something work here. What I did, I spent years kind of, doing things there, and I always caught myself, finding myself saying, this is how I would do it if I had my own space. Or I love this, but I can never handle 3 brides at a time. Like, I did it, I made it work, but it was so much like I felt rushed. I felt like these girls weren't getting the 100% attention they deserve. So mental notes.
You're forming a business plan.
But
Is what you're doing, right?
yeah.
You don't know it yet, but you are.
That's
As a
exactly.
corporate shop, it's kind of profits over people, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
it's how fast can we turn you through the door?
Like restaurants,
Yeah.
get them in, get them
Yeah.
out, get them at the
Right.
and it's a very good. See, you didn't think you'd have anything to
I
add
do.
to this.
Well, it's business acumen. I can handle that
It is,
part of it.
But that's exactly what it was. So it became more of like I found bits and pieces of how I could connect, and that was my claim to fame there. So, going ahead and I'm like, I didn't realize I was putting a business plan together. Very good, right? So I found that it's still in my corporate, boys were getting older, things like that. I said, you know what? I need to really investigate this because I just never had that push or any kind of resources to really guide me.
Yeah.
So I hooked up with the Small Business Development Center at Buff State. And
Which is great for anybody that doesn't know about it.
Oh,
it's free. They give you a lot of great advice.
One-on-one,
Yep.
completely. And I hooked up with Andrea Lizac there, and I will shout her name from the rooftops. We are still, I contact her all the time just to even touch base. And I would meet with her at really odd times around my corporate job, and she would just let me let the information come out. She always says to me, I didn't do anything. I just kind of brought it out of you. She'd give me homework, and I would put things together, and all of a sudden the spark, I could see like, I can do this. And it's all about that belief in yourself, like, because when you don't have people who really kind of could guide you through that, we're like, I don't know how do I even do this?
Yeah.
So I set myself a goal, and I said, now I was not a spring chicken at this point. I know, like it seems like nowadays every teen and 20 something, and that's great. It's very much we are in a culture of entrepreneurship right now, which is wonderful. But I said, if I don't start this or get this done by the time I'm 45, I can't. I can't do it just because I just don't see where it would go, whatever. So the funny story, I went to go see one of my friends who was working at the bank, which I was working at the bank too, and I had the lease in my hand for my first place that I ever opened in East Aurora. And I was just like so nervous because it's a big deal.
Yeah, 100%.
And I'm holding the thing, and my friend is like, what is that? And I'm like, I'm having a bit of because I was still full-time. This was obviously because when I launched the shop, it couldn't have been full-time. So I got to a place where I'm like, oh my gosh, I might actually do this. And I said, that's the lease to the new place. I have to go, mail it. And I had it on the desk. Unbeknownst to me, she kind of grabbed it. And then she comes back. I said, where's my letter? She goes, oh, I threw it in the mail. You're good. I go, literally true story.
Which is kind of a great thing.
I
Now you're like,
love her.
now you're
going.
going.
I need to meet her. Deb is amazing. Yes,
Deb,
she.
shout out, Deb.
And she did it, and I literally was like, what you did? And I panic attack. But then at the same point, it's almost like game on.
Yeah.
And that was, I believe, if memory serves me correctly, right after my 45th birthday.
Oh my
So literally,
gosh.
it was like right there, and I'm like, okay, we're doing this.
I love that.
So kind of, I know that's
now
a
I'm
real,
getting
Yes,
but
I
it's like
love
a
this. I love
long, and
this
I'm
story.
so sorry. I needed
No.
to
No, we
bring
love to go
you
left.
to the point where it was, this was something I always wanted to do, and kind of what I would say to people, if you've got that fire in you, and you've got that belief, and it just won't go away no matter how, you owe it to yourself to explore. Even if you don't have all of the pieces of the puzzle right there, you figure it out.
And that's the great thing in today's society. You can find those pieces very easily.
100%.
And how great it is to have a friend that would push you that far.
I love that so
Because
much.
most friends are like, oh, I don't know. That's a bit.
Right,
Yeah.
That's
exactly.
tough. I don't know.
Right.
But it's the belief that she had in
Yeah,
you.
100%.
That she was like, no. Like, I know you can do this.
This is not your world.
You're
the bank is not you.
doubting yourself. We're pushing
Go.
you over the edge.
Yeah.
Exactly. And not that, like you said, I did very well in places, like we all, when you're a hard worker, you give your all to wherever you are.
Yeah.
But when you've got that passion, you owe it to yourself to at least explore how to do it.
That's
And I think you find that 100% when you work at a corporate place because, like you said, I would change this. I would do this.
Yep.
And if you didn't have the passion to go into that, I don't think you'd think that way.
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
Right,
I mean,
right.
as a future entrepreneur at that point.
Yep.
So I love that.
So so here I am. This is my second, I ended up kind of finding, when I went in the first place, it was my first place, I was like, woohoo, here I am. Didn't realize, unfortunately, the location had like zero visibility. It was a great place, but I was like, you learn things as you go.
Of course.
So then, of course, I was looking, a couple of years down there, I'm like, okay, now that I'm learning, now I know what I really wanted, that little private boutique kind of, I didn't want to be in a mall or whatever, so. This place came up, this used to be a State Farm insurance agency.
Oh, really?
And I renovated the entire thing, but this is always what I wanted. I wanted a space where brides felt at home, like we talked about a little bit.
So, visibility, I have to say. I didn't even see your sign. I saw the bow on the front of the building.
You can't miss that
and
bow.
I knew I was in the right space.
Yeah, you can't miss that bow.
The bow was very intentional. I actually worked with Eric, who did the Fiddler on the Roof.
Oh, so there you go.
I actually approached him and said, okay, listen, I'm going from a place where nobody could see me to where I've got this ideal location, but I need to put my stamp on it. So we were kind of thinking of ways to go to really put the landmark on it. And I go, what about a big white sparkly bow? Yeah. And he's a real quiet guy, right? He's like, okay. And we just came up with it, and he actually had to take it to like an automotive place to put special
Really?
spray. Oh yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. So, but I wanted to make, like you said, I wanted to give it my stamp, and I will go to bridal shows now, and even the guys, it's hilarious. They'll be like, "Oh, wait a minute, you're the one with the white bow." I'm like, "Yes, that's
there
me."
You go.
So,
I mean, you have a brand.
Yep.
Right.
And this place exudes that brand, and that bow is just like the welcoming thing. You know what I mean? So,
100%.
love it.
I love
so
that.
fun.
So we're gonna go back to the private aspect
Yes.
of the studio, I guess you would call it, because essentially it is. You're
Yeah.
making art here.
100%.
You're no walk-ins.
I can take a walk-in, let's say if I am here and let's say I'm doing some, I don't have someone scheduled, or let's say they rescheduled. If there's a time, and by luck that I will retain the idea.
Gotcha.
We'll still do some pre-work in here, but primarily, yes, by appointment is the desired for sure.
So because you're a dude, women are fine making an appointment because they want the people with them and they want the time, and it is an experience. It is the moment they have dreamed of. This is the thing, when they're watching The Little Mermaid or whatever, Beauty and the Beast, when they're a little kid, it's like, this is the moment I try on my dress and everyone cries. It's the thing.
And everyone cries.
And then it's like, you have those feelings,
Yes.
it's the one, and it is an experience. So
the feelings, it's true.
booking an appointment is usually fine.
Yeah.
You're a guy.
No,
we just walk
exactly.
in, hold the
Guys
pants
are
on.
like, let's go.
I know, I need black or brown. What do you
Yeah,
got?
exactly. Keep that measuring tape away from me.
Yeah, right. Oh, girls too. We're all
Yeah,
like
no
that.
likes that.
Nobody likes
But it's
that.
also nice because you do have your whole crew with you.
Yeah.
And it's a great little spot where you're not, as you mentioned, with 3 other brides
Exactly.
and their parties.
Yeah.
So.
And that is, yes, it's a very good point. So the by appointment isn't to be very off-putting.
Sure.
It's more like welcoming, because it's like we are, we're reserving this time, you're reserving the boutique for you and your guests to be at home.
Yeah.
As you can see from looking around, I don't have racks and racks of dresses out here.
Yeah.
I don't want anyone to feel they're shopping.
Yeah.
It's just such a kind of sterile word. I want my guests to come in and feel like they're at home. The showroom in the other room, it's a very space where it looks like a living room.
Yeah.
I have
It
their
does. It's
music,
cozy.
the music is what they would listen to. And I want to take that pressure off of shopping right from the get-go.
Yeah.
So it should be a very relaxed, no pressure, welcome home and let's have some fun.
Yeah, I love that.
So when they do call to make their appointment, what kind of preparations do you give them to make sure they're walking in for success for that day?
I love that. I usually say, and I love the calls, and I'll get back to that one because I always say, please call, because calling gives that, we
It's
can
so
have
much
a little more
easier
time.
too, right?
Exactly.
I
We
hate the
can
people
talk
that
to
try to
someone.
text or email, and
You
you're going back for
something.
If
3 or
it's
4
if there's
days.
not a call, exactly. So I usually say go right to the website to start just to get that before you call, so you can educate yourself a little bit on how I'm a little different in what I offer. All of my appointment types are outlined on the website. So I start from a basic for someone who's like, I'm not ready to buy, but I just want to come in to kind of I want to see a couple different styles or see what even works on me. find your fit.
Mm-hmm.
We can offer something as basic as that, or as basic as, can I stop in for a half hour just to pick your brain on some things? I don't even know where to begin.
Yeah.
That's what I love. I would rather someone do that than come in blind to that. Or we can go up, like you say, to the full-on experience with the snacks and the cheers and everything. We can kind of go from there. So it's basically look online, kind of get an idea of where I'm going through. You can then actually book whatever session you want right online for a date and time that works for you.
Yeah.
Now, I'm kind of skimming in little directions here, but sometimes I will get a call and people because I don't have hours listed on the website. It just says by appointment.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll get a call, when are you open? And my first response is, when do you need me to be open? And they're kind of like, huh?
I did not anticipate that.
Right. They're like, oh.
I didn't plan.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
what I usually say is start on the booking app. I make lots of availability, weekends, evenings, Sundays. I love Sundays. Sundays are super quiet here.
Sunday fun day.
Yes, and it's
Perfect
usually
for the girls that are in football season.
well, and the girls are just as go Bills. Just as
Not
fanatical.
just drop. Don't be
Right. So we can definitely incorporate, but and it's funny. A little sidebar. It's funny you say that too because I notice on Bills games, especially home games.
Yeah.
It's quiet,
Oh,
because
yeah.
most people are.
Yeah,
So I get it. So I plan accordingly.
I cannot
I wonder
schedule
how
a show
different-
at Bill's game.
Right.
I wonder
The
how
schedule
different.
needs to be booked in
How
advance.
different would have that been though pre-Josh Allen
Right, you're right.
during the drought era?
No, you're right.
Sure.
Sundays you might have been busy.
Yeah. But it is now. Everybody is glued,
Yeah.
which that's
I'm
another
I'm
conversation.
surprised
You girls,
about that.
guys and girls, can come back. We can talk about these Bills. I'm already getting anxiety. We gotta do it this year.
Did you watch the?
Not yet. I'm watching it today
Okay,
because I
well,
missed it last night, so I'm
sure.
watching it today.
I won't drop
I
it.
saw
Yeah,
that
don't
I
do
saw
it.
that it was on at 9 o'clock, and I'm like, what are they doing to me?
I know I missed it, so I'm
I
gonna
know.
watch it today. So
We-
la.
HBO,
Yep.
don't listen to this right now, but we were like, we don't have HBO. We were like, who do we know that we can borrow the login just for the day, whatever.
man.
So we figured it
There you go.
There you go. But yes, I'm anxiously. I can't wait to watch it. So
Good.
we'll regroup. We'll have a conversation after that.
out. Just teaser, they do show a little Josh Allen, Haley Steinfeld wedding.
Oh,
Speaking of
nice.
weddings, bringing
Very
in
nice.
that.
Oh, I
So,
can't wait to see that. Oh, yeah, that's another whole
Yeah,
conversation
the
we
whole
can have too. So appointments, yes. So going back to that, I see how I segue.
Yeah, no,
I love it.
So yes, so start there. I make so many dates and times available on the website to hopefully encompass, what every bride can have. Because let's face it too, the traditional 9 to 5, 9 to 6 is not the norm nowadays.
Right. Everything's
So
different.
so I need to meet my brides where they're at as well, and I can't just find myself saying I'm only here these hours. It just to me just felt like non-personal,
Yeah.
like just saying, oh, I'm closed at this, so I can't.
Mhm.
And that's just me. It might work for some. It doesn't work for me. So if they don't find something online, I say right on the web, reach out. I had a girl once. She was only in town for a very short time, and she called and she's like, would you ever consider opening early? I go, well, how early do you need me to be here? She was like, 7 a.m. I did it.
But again, that's why you're in the
That's
wedding
great.
industry, is because
Yeah.
we're here for those people to make sure they're getting what they
Exactly.
need.
And that they're not going to get that just
Right.
anywhere.
Well, and that's the point. Like, I loved hearing your story, and I'm so glad you shared it because it just further solidifies like how important this is to you. This is your passion, this is your thing, and so making an adjustment for someone to come at 7 a.m. like you're willing to
No-brainer.
do that
Right.
versus
Right.
some of the larger chains. They're like, no, it's this time to this
Yeah.
time.
Mhm.
Take your
It's just
pick.
a different. It's a different mindset. You know what I mean? And that's
100%.
why small business is the way to go when you're planning your wedding.
100%.
Yeah.
And when you said about, and I forgot to mention one of the things about like the brand and
Yeah.
the logo, it was the nickname my grandfather obviously
Mhm.
gave to me. But when I was I'm a marketing person, but that was what
Yeah.
I did with the bank. That was my corporate job. So when I was thinking about the brand and the logo and things like that, I have 2 boys. I don't have girls. So you would think, oh, girls in the wedding industry. I wanted to somehow incorporate my 2 boys
Mhm.
into this whole thing, knowing, like you say, well, I don't have much to add. That my boys are just like, do you need a shelf put in or something? Other than that, that's
Yeah.
the extent. So when I was working with the person who was coming up with the logo, I said, I know I want 2 distinct shades of blue. I want both of my boys to be kind of wrapped
like
into
that.
this so,
Mhm.
somehow. And then I wanted that little dash of pink and with that like little heart. So that shows not only my love for my 2 boys, but for any of my brides that become part of our family and it kind of oversees all this. So there's a little bit of a story. I'm very intentional about
I love that
everything
story
love it.
because I was actually kind of confused when I walked in because normally you walk into
It's white.
it's white, it's
neutral.
pink, it's like
I know.
very neutral, and I was like blue. Okay,
Yeah.
I like
but that's
it.
a great story. I love that.
I also love that you mentioned that there aren't a ton of racks everywhere, and you're walking into
Fresh.
like what feels like almost like a and it's just different. You know what I mean? It's just a different way of approaching it, and a different way of thinking about it, and it's cool. I like it.
It was part of that putting together the business plan without realizing I was putting together
Yeah.
the business plan.
Yeah.
I was the one, when I worked in that big corporate, I was at the end of the night, I was making sure all the bags and the dresses were like very, but it was more as I was doing all that going, it just to me, there was a lot of static and there was a lot of noise, and I was like, I want to cut through that chaos and noise right from the get-go, before they even step in the shop when we talk. Because getting back to the appointment piece, after they look online, if they do book something, I immediately get the notification, and I ask a lot of sometimes crazy off the wall questions where girls are filling out this form, they're like, I wonder why she's asking me this. Okay, we'll put this right, because I want to get to the essence of this bride. I don't want her just come in and throwing dresses on her.
Yeah.
Who is she? What makes her smile? When does she feel her most unstoppable? Like, and I ask a lot of questions to get to that because I want to know her. I don't want to just jump in. Oh, hi, you're here. Okay, here, let's. Oh, you don't like this? No, you don't like this? Okay, do it. So we schedule that Zoom. I make that, I know the Zoom becomes a dirty word after COVID. It's like we're all, but it really does give them an opportunity, if they choose, they don't have to do it, just to connect with them without their entourage, with just the two of us, unfiltered, where we can have a little chat.
See what you did there.
Yeah, I see what I did there. I love that. Where we can have a little chat, and I can get a little give me a little heads up before you get here, kind of thing. And while we're talking, because I'm a people person, I'll pick out things already, like, okay, and I make little notes like this. So it helps with my planning too, because I want it to be very personal, very fun, and not just a sterile shopping history. So I'll go to great lengths where people do not feel like they're shopping. I just say dress shopping. It just it sounds like a chore. And some girls get very anxiety ridden.
Oh, for sure.
And a lot of girls have put off scheduling an appointment because they said, I'm not ready for this. Because their confidence, or they just think that it's going to be a bad experience.
My wife struggled with the whole I have to make a choice thing.
Okay.
Because like the corporate places might shove 10 dresses in front of you, right? And you're like, okay, where do I start? She'll change her mind 10 times throughout that process, and it's like, okay.
It's not unnormal.
Exactly. And if it's the dress that like in the process of finding you, she also had to make choices. And
that is true.
Weeded out some.
That is true, right?
Some like not so great options. Right, I'm sure that weren't a great fit. It's just like finding the groom. You know what I mean?
I have used that analogy a little bit because that's not uncommon for a girl to say, oh my gosh, well, this is only my first time, and they want to schedule like 10 bridal shops. They want to travel. Everyone's like, I want to go to X city or X city, which my advice to a lot of brides out there is, please do not feel that you have to visit X numbers, or don't set any expectations that, well, it's my first shop that I go to, or because not only are you ruling out some potential great opportunities, but you're kind of insulting the shop owner right from the get-go, basically walking in and saying, well, this is only my first time. I know I don't want to buy anything, which is, of
course.
But if you do your research, if you actually pick up a phone and talk to the person who will be working directly with you for your appointment, you're getting an idea of what this whole boutique can even offer you. And if you're not getting a good feel, maybe you shouldn't even visit a place like that. Or if you're getting, okay, it's worth exploring. But I tell girls, if you visit like 8, you're going to overshop yourself, because there's, to your point about your wife, there's always going to be dresses out there. There's always, any one of us, and you could keep looking and looking and looking, and you're going to get to a point where you are so overwhelmed, you're going to find yourself either just like throwing in the towel or just saying yes to something that.
And how do you even remember where you saw what you liked, what you didn't like at that point? I mean, sure, people have lists and whatever, but...
Well, and I thank you for bringing that up too, is photos. Photos are such a necessary evil of this whole industry. Of course, I'm not going to say no if someone wants to take pictures, but I always remind these girls, when they say, I want to go home and look at the pictures, no, I understand that. Keep in mind, these are sample dresses that are not fit to you. They're, a lot of times we're clipped and they're bunching, right? We're just kind of giving you a real,
an idea.
Yes, and you're doing a quick snap. Like if you really want to, I'll get you really clipped up. But if we did that for every dress, we'll be 3 or 4 dresses, and we're into 2 hours already. So pictures, yes, but only to your point. Like, you can't say, oh, I don't like this dress because it didn't fit me, and go somewhere else. This is why I always tell girls, if they tell me, like, well, this is only my first place. Understand, but then once you look at if you do feel the need to go to 5-6 other stores, I would at least expect a courtesy. Please come back at least to try these dresses that were way in the beginning, because you probably would have forgot to at least rule them out at minimum.
It's a learning process,
it's
right?
A learning
You're
process.
learning what you like. It's like buying a house, you know what I mean? You're looking for things. You've never done this before most of the time, you know, and you're figuring out what you like.
And then what sets me apart, that it's a really nice segue, what you just said, is because people don't realize that I am not a typical bridal shop until they start to, or if I have other brides who have purchased or said yes through me that refer other girls that are familiar with what I do. When you walk in, or when you come in for your appointment, I hand select every style that comes. I work directly with my designers. And what sets me apart a little bit is I work with designers who offer higher level customizations. So customizations and alterations often are confused for things. The customizations are basically changing inherent elements of the dress to make it what you want, rather than taking it to a seamstress and getting it cut up and trying to rechange and things like that. So the appointment will start with obviously utilizing some of the styles, the curated collections that I have. But I will always ask, it's not like it's, do you like this dress? No? Okay. Do you like this dress? No? Okay. What we do is we go through the elements, like, what do you like about this dress? What don't you like about this dress? So then we're navigating through the process, and we may find that this bride, there might not be that unicorn all-in-one dress that exists on the rack. We may have to kind of piece this together with the designer. So let's say she falls in love with the bodice of one dress, but she loves the skirt pattern of another dress. Let's say the dress is fitted. She wanted it to be more A-line. She would really love it if we could put pockets in it.
Who wouldn't?
Who wouldn't, right?
We had talk once about pockets.
Oh, pockets are... People lose their minds.
See, guys don't understand it, because we have pockets on everywhere.
Well, lucky you. I think I said this last time, but I went to a bridal dress fashion show, and they were coming out, and as they were coming out, the one dress had pockets, and you could see everything erupted in terms of the audience when it came to the pockets.
Oh, people lose their minds over pockets.
But the guys would never understand it.
We're
like, oh, it's a pocket.
You got pockets for days. We don't have pockets all the time. This skirt has pockets. And I love this skirt.
I need to talk to Sarah and see if she's a pocket girl.
I will guarantee you your wife is a pocket girl, and you just never even
Should
thought
call her
about it.
online right now.
Yeah.
So I love that we can do these different types of things. Or what if they wanted a completely different color? Like, if the dress comes in an ivory, what if they wanted to put like a nude blush and make it nude blush? Or what if it was way too plungy and they wanted that neckline raised or lined? The designers I work with specifically they're very selective about the boutiques they will work with, because they want people who know how to take those detailed measurements, who are familiar with that, so that we can, if we're designing actual one-of-a-kind pieces, you have to kind of know what you're doing.
And it's got to be easier to get the measurements right the first time versus getting that custom dress made, sending it back out for alterations again, and fixing all that stuff.
It's a lot more, it's very close. Every dress is going to need a little something. It's not like TJ Maxx, you're going to grab a shirt off the rack, oh, it's great. Even with measurements, there's always a little
But it's a tweak. It's
a tweak. It's not an inherent design. Well, yeah, I've got one designer. I am the only boutique in the entire United States that carries them, because I stalked them during COVID, and I love them. They're very big in the UK, New Zealand, and they're two sisters, and they are amazing. And because of the time zone differences, believe it or not, we do a lot of communication online. But I've done completely custom dresses with these girls. I did a blue ball gown that was with the Dungeons and Dragons theme, with the poets. It was all done, believe it or not, the communication with photos, with patterning, all online, and the dress came in and it was perfect.
I love it.
So, and then I've got another designer. She's based in New York City. She's got about 12 boutiques across the country. She's got her dresses in Kleinfeld. She's, things like that, where that's why it kind of makes me sad when girls are like, well, I'm going to go here. I'm going to go to Kleinfeld for my dress. And I'm like, I actually have this
Yeah.
Okay, am I wrong? But if you go to Kleinfeld's, are you probably paying double or triple what you would pay for the
And
same
you're not
dress?
getting the TV experience. Let's
Right,
be real.
right. Okay,
My
I don't
best
know. I'm just
friend-
asking.
My best friend, she was engaged. This was many, many years ago, and we went to Kleinfeld's and did the whole thing. And I will
The
tell
whole
you,
thing.
we did the whole thing.
I love you.
And she stood on the platform in the middle of the room, and I don't know how it happened, but we did kind of get a mini version of the
Nice.
TV experience, which was great,
Yeah.
wonderful. However, okay,
Okay.
you were paying a significant
Yes,
amount of
for
money
just that. Yes.
for the dress, and to know that that same dress
Mm-hmm.
is probably available in several different locations. It's just I don't think that people realize that.
Exactly.
You know, I don't
That's
think
where the
that they
education
realize
comes
that.
in. Exactly.
Yeah.
And a lot of girls, I've actually seen out there on certain platforms where advice is given for local brides.
Sure.
They're saying, well, just call a bridal shop and ask if they carry a designer, and then that's the boutique you want to go to. And that also makes me sad because there are a lot of, I specialize with these independent designers. They
Yeah.
might not have the recognition that somebody, but do you really want the same dress that everybody else has?
Yeah.
Or do you really,
That's a
are
really
you
good
s-
point.
Yeah, are you
Yeah.
For what you're
serious?
spending, you should get something custom
Custom
made for
and
yourself
unique
and-
to you.
Yeah.
I always tell my girls, when you walk down that aisle, you want everyone to you know, you're gonna hear the audible gasp, but then that is such a, insert your name
Yes.
there, that is such a, you know, a Heather dress, or
Yes.
that's such a Jamie dress. You know,
Yeah.
you want that. And sometimes, like you said, that might not readily exist on the rack. So half the fun, and as you can see, this is where I start now, is the creative process. And that's where I play. That's my
Love it.
wheelhouse, where it's like, I don't show a lot of just single dresses on my website or on my socials because I do so many custom dresses. And I don't want girls to just feel, oh, well, I'm not really crazy about that dress, but hold up, you can take this from this and this from this. And not in an overwhelming way. I keep things very focused because I don't want my girls to get overwhelmed. But the options that they have, A, I want to minimize the number of alterations you're going to need when a dress comes in. And B, I don't want you to have to run all over God's creation trying to find something that may or may not exist or sell yourself into something that's not totally you. We've got the tools, the resources, direct one-on-one with the designers. You're dealing with me. And not that I don't mean that coming off as like, you deal with me, but I know what I bring to the table.
Yeah,
I know
you
the
experience.
relationships.
Yes,
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I talk directly to the designers. I'm texting one of my designers in New York City and they're sending her pictures of the bride, and the bride's like, wait a minute, that's the designer? Yes, this is, you get that, and they want this dress to be perfect for you. It's not something that's just mass produced and, hanging on a rack somewhere. If you're going to invest financially and emotionally in a dress, it shouldn't be something you're lackluster about.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people are like, oh, it's just one day. Oh, I'm not paying that for a dress, it's one day. It breaks your heart a little bit. You're like, but it's one day, but it's a huge celebration. And I don't care who you are, when you walk down that aisle, everybody is looking at you. They want to say, it's that Princess Di all over again. What is she wearing? What is she going to look like?
We always looked at this till one day that you can be 100% you and do exactly what you want to do. And
Yes. Yeah, and it doesn't have to cost $10,000. It doesn't have to cost $5,000. But the unique factor, and I don't think girls realize the number of options they do have when it comes to that. They hear custom dress and they ride away, like think, oh, that's totally out of my reach. They don't realize what I can do because when I'm working directly with the designer, it's a lot more affordable to make those changes when the dress is being cut than to purchase a dress, have a seamstress take it apart, try it. That's where the expense comes in. So if the designer is, oh yeah, we can do that pattern from that. Oh yeah, they don't realize that they're like, really? And I've had moms blown away come in here. They're like, I didn't realize you can do that, which obviously that's always the challenge as a small business owner, trying to get all of that in one Instagram post. Like, hi, here's what I can do. Isn't that what you're trying
and people
to
only
tell?
really look at the picture, they don't read everything that you're typing in
Right,
there.
so it's a challenge to get that message out there in short attention span theater,
Yeah,
where you're
that's
getting
true.
a quick kind of thing on there. But I'm definitely, it's always a work in progress.
Yeah.
But I want people to know that I'm as excited about this. I get that when in the stories. I have to touch on the stories when these girls come in, when you never know truly 100% where someone has been or what it is. And there have been some, I will tell you, I will go home at the end of it, like it's just such, you hear, and the brides open up, and sometimes they're by themselves. Yeah. So, and you don't want to, you celebrate everyone who comes in, and then as you're going through the process, things come out. And I'm thinking, what, and it just, you become their support.
Yeah.
Sure.
You become, and you're celebrating that moment with them. And sometimes there have been some pretty emotional things that happen, and you look back at this bride on her wedding day, and maybe not everybody but it's just, you played a very small part in this day, but you know how significant that is to that bride.
You feel the weight of it.
The weight, and it is, and then there are those, the high school sweethearts, that are getting married 15 years later, and they're together, and you hear the whole story when, they were awkward middle schoolers and things like that. And it's just the stories that just keep you coming back every day, because what I love most about this job, one of the most, every day it's different. Every opportunity to create something beautiful and unique and different, and to learn more about all of the different stories out there, and it just it takes your breath away sometimes, but it's just such an emotionally fueled industry. I think we've even discussed this, and if you are not 1,000% passionate about what you do, you kind of have no business being in this industry. It's so much it's so different than anything you will ever do.
Absolutely.
So we spent a lot of time talking about alterations, customization, stuff like that. 2 questions here. The first one is, how far in advance should brides be getting a hold of you? And second, once they make their decisions while they're here, how long is it taking for them to get their dress back for a second fitting or things like that?
That is an amazing question, and that is always the work in progress. See, you thought you had nothing to add to this. You're throwing some bangers out here. I love it.
This is Molly.
I love it. I love it. Thank you, Molly.
Thank you,
Molly.
Technology, Molly.
Well, we live in such an on-demand, point-and-click, immediate gratification world, right? This, the next generation of brides are used to, I want that skirt, add to cart, I'll get it in a week, kind of a thing. When it comes to fine garment making, I will get the shell shock when someone comes in. I'm getting married next month, and I need a dress.
Good for you.
Getting back to the working with independent designers. Yeah. I have done a custom dress in 4 weeks.
The flexibility there is unmatched.
It's crazy. Do I recommend putting that amount of strap? No. Can I do it? Absolutely. But it does. I mean, you're then talking about making sure it's shipped on time, making sure you have so can I do it? Yes. Do I recommend? No. So one of the biggest obstacles or biggest questions I get in that realm, everybody else, I want to lose weight. So I don't want to come in too soon. I want to lose weight. And we all want to look our best. We all want to look our best on the big day. But the reality is these dresses are being made from scratch. They are not just hanging somewhere and point and click and shipping it to you. They take time. Dresses can take anywhere from 5 to 9 months to just make the dress. That doesn't include even the shipping out and doing things like that. But the rule of thumb, you can always take a dress in, and do you really want to put such pressure on yourself where, your fiance loves you, as we all want to look our best. But if you're talking, you want to go down 5, 6 dress sizes, sometimes these expectations are unreal. Even the best of us, you're not maybe a size, and that's all workable. So I always say you want to start it's never too early to start your search. Yeah. Realistically, rule of thumb, we always say 11, 12 months in advance, just to kind of get the process going, figure out what you like, what you don't like, and getting those on order. And then everybody needs minimum a bustle on a dress for a train. That's the one thing any designer can't do unless you're getting a removable train, something like that, which is another option we can do. But a little take-in, maybe a hem, things like that. So you want to give yourself a lot of the bridal boutiques around here, we all kind of utilize a lot of, there's only so many skilled alterations people, and it's a dying art. It's, you know, so the good ones are all retired, you know, and there's not a lot of, well, I'm seeing now, which is great, there's a new injection of garment making, and people are, which I love, this is great, we need that. So the same kind of alterations people are doing, you know, they're getting inundated at the same time. So I tell girls, give yourself that buffer. Don't wait until a month before the wedding and say, I need an alteration. So all of that comes into the giving yourself a little planning time. So a year is not unrealistic to give yourself for a dress. Do I have I'm getting married in a month and we can make, and even so, I always tell girls, you're not limited to off the rack. I can make something work, but again, do you want to put that pressure on yourself?
I wouldn't want that stress.
It's a stress, for all of us, it's really a stress.
No.
Not for nothing. This is the fun, for me, this is the fun. I'd be like, all right, the ring got on the finger, I'm making an appointment.
The dress. That's
this is my fun part. Like, we talk all the time, like, what are your priorities? What are you most excited about? And, like, attack those things first.
Exactly.
Because, follow-up question. Do you ever just try on the dresses and frolic around with your shows? Okay.
They're mine, so yes, I have to test drive them.
Of course. Right. I'm just like, that's all I would do. I would just be sitting here behind the desk being like, yes,
it's research.
Hello.
Yes, it's research. You have to see, can I move in this big ball gown? Can we move? How does it reflect the light? Maybe I need to go outside.
I would just be like answering
I'm just
calls.
envisioning you two walking down the street.
Yeah, with full dresses.
Got a coffee, let's go get a coffee. You just pick it up.
Dunkin', you're in Dunkin'.
Yeah. It's one of those like little known like side things about owning your own boutique. Yeah, you have to, you have to immerse yourself in it. But I must, in the beginning, oh my gosh, all the time. Now it gets to the point where I'm like, oh my gosh, you get so busy days. Like I had a dress that I was like, oh, I can't wait to put this on, right? Yeah. Got it out there and I'm like, oh, I never even got to try this on. And then I had an appointment. So I tell the girl, all right, you are the first person that gets to try this. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. So it is, but it is really, really exciting when the new dresses come in. You're like, ooh, something new to play with, to kind of use elements from this now. I have another pattern to work with.
So fun. I love it.
So you mentioned the emotion of, talking with the brides, learning a lot about them. Do you have a favorite story or a great success story from one of those experiences?
I've got so many. Oh my gosh, I love them all. But actually, I have one bride who actually her dress should be in the next few weeks.
Oh, well timed.
Yes, well timed. But I often refer back to this story. She, sweet, lovely, lovely bride. She had a very specific, distinct vision for her wedding dress, and it wasn't something that would be hanging on a rack right now. It was very religious, very, the ceremony at the Basilica, very, and she wanted something incredibly reflective of her faith, which I'm all for. Unique, right? Let's talk, right? Yeah. So it started with a phone call, and it was funny the way it happened because it was at the end of a Saturday or something. I was just getting ready to walk out the door, and I pick up the phone. And we were going back and forth talking. She was asking, she said, I'm having a lot of trouble finding something, obviously, because this was it's a style that isn't, it definitely is going to be a custom, something or other. And she was telling me a little bit about it, and she goes, I tried to talk to a few people about making it totally custom, but with the intricate things she was looking for, I can only imagine. If someone, she said the starting point would be $5,000. So she goes, it's definitely out of my budget, but I really, really, and she goes, I was referred to you from an aunt, and she suggested giving you a call. So the conversation actually lasted about 40 minutes. We were going back and forth, and I told her, text me some inspo pics, because she said she had some pics that she saw online. Now I take those with a grain of salt, because we all know AI I love and I hate. Some girls are getting some really unrealistic expectations of dresses because they're not real. They're not real, they're AI generated. Right, so we can kind of work with vibe, but if you're looking, it might not be but I'm like, okay, send me some things you found online. So she sent me some things. I started doing a lot of, now mind you, she hasn't even been in the booth, she hasn't even scheduled anything yet. I'm just doing the pre-work because I want to acknowledge what she's looking for and give her some credibility, because she didn't feel like she was being heard, because it was just she was just getting, no, we really don't have anything, or no, we can't. So I'm like, I need to help her. I don't know how at this point, but we're gonna attack this. So I went with one of my designers who does a lot of the higher level, and I'm like, okay, so I'm looking at dresses I have, I'm thinking, okay, I'm putting this together. So I sent her some rough shots. I'm like, hey, I can do something like this, I could do something like this. Talked with my designer, ballpark, we're probably looking about here. Do you think you'd be comfortable with that? Would you at least want to come in and maybe we can do some exploring here? So she said, oh my gosh, definitely. And she came in, and again, once I started showing her things, putting it together, now literally, we pulled from like 5 different, like the sleeves of one dress, the lace pattern of another dress, the neckline of another, a special modification, like there was a lot of trust that this bride needed to place in me to get the vision. But I went through it and I said, I am confident I can do this. I would never even offer something to a bride if I felt even the least bit that, ooh, I don't know that, because my name's on it. I literally and figuratively have my name stamped on all of this. I am not going to promise something I can't deliver. And I'm that confident with my designers that I know they would tell me if they couldn't make something happen. So she's here and she was by herself, you know, and so we're just doing the thing and we're going through everything. And we had a lot of laughs too, because the poor girl, like I had one dress stretched for the sleeve, one dress, like she's got 5 different dresses, she's got this, and she's
squinting in the mirror,
and I've got like big clips all over. We're like, but trust me, visualize this. I'm showing her the picture, and she's standing on the pedestal, and she's all like put together and things. And I look at her, and I'm like, and she's looking at me, and I said, should we ask you the question? And I was like, oh my, should we do the whole, ask her, are you saying yes to the dress and do that? And she's like, I will never forget, she's like, I trust you. I completely trust you. And she's one of those stories that just making her feel heard and seen. And after she left, like I literally was a puddle. I was a puddle because I'm like, we did it together. And all I did was listen and said, okay, not, oh, this is good. How are we going to make this work for her? And not only were all the pieces there, but it was in a budget that she could do. So so her dress should be in it, and I can't wait because it's like,
I want to see it.
It's like Christmas. Well, we'll have to get it. But it's like Christmas too, because we're designing these dresses. So when the dress comes in, these girls will laugh at me so many times because I'll be so excited when it comes in. I'll be like, I'm like sending them their text. Oh my dress here, beautiful. Oh my gosh, you got, and it's like broken text, and the minute they're like, wow, emojis. Yes, emojis. And then I'm hitting the wrong emojis. I'm like, whoa, didn't mean to do that. So that's the excitement that we share. So that when they come in, we're all we're screaming, we're crying, we're like, oh my gosh, and it's just, you're no longer client and worker. You're family. Yeah. And it's so cliche, but it is. You care just as much about these, wrap around them, and then when they bring in their sweet grandmas, and oh my gosh, I love the grandmas.
Give me a good grandma, forget about it.
And
they come to my shows, forget about it.
And there have been so many, just the stories, again, where you're like, and it makes you, it goes full circle, because then I think about my grandpa, my grandma, and it just, they would love what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And it is such and that's why when the little grandmas come in or the dads. Right? Right when it's the dad. Again, going back to emotional stories, when I was in Easter, I had a dad and his daughter. Didn't really ask him, but I can't even talk. But
But that's also like, again, why you connect with the boutique first. Understand who they are and what kind of level of service you're going to get, because you don't know what is kind of sitting in their inventory. Like, you kind of don't know. You could go to a place that is a large place that has a huge selection out there for you to see, but you're not going to get someone who is going to stay on the phone with you for 40 minutes and piece 5 dresses together to make sure it's what you want. Like, that's the kind of person. Or have a pre-appointment phone call, and then you almost become an advocate. Like a silent advocate, because I've seen people have opinions when they come in for dresses. Grandma's got opinions, mom's got opinions, friends got opinions, everybody's got an opinion. And in some cases, the bride may not feel comfortable saying like, ignoring some of those opinions because this is her first time doing it. So having that like kind of advocate of like, no, we talked, I got your back, they don't know it, but we're gonna get you what you want, is so important, and why you work with someone who is as passionate about it as you.
Being their hype girl. That's what I always say. I'm like, I I got your back.
Yeah,
I got
someone
that.
who understands.
Mhm.
Yeah, love it. Love it.
I don't know, I've never been to one of these. So.
Well, you're officially in.
All right.
Welcome.
You're in. You're
I don't know that I would ever enjoy being at one of them.
You know,
Yeah.
I've had guys, and they are some of the most, like, they get into it really
Yeah.
quick.
Oh, I can
They're
see
like,
that. I
yeah.
can see that.
And it's fun. They give that, kind of take some of the edge off sometimes
Yeah.
too. It's not, I'm all for it.
My
I'm all
wife
for
would
it.
hate it because she could be in the back getting it all ready.
Yep.
And she would love to dress.
Yep, and you're like,
And
I don't like
I can't hide my face. Like if I'm not happy about something, like she'll be like, "You hate it." I'm like,
But it's good that you're
No.
doing it here and not the day of the wedding.
Imagine.
So maybe that's a good thing.
Imagine.
she picked the perfect dress for herself. So I
That's
gotta
awesome.
give her. It's her and her mom that went by themselves.
It was
Yeah.
So they did a
her,
great job.
right?
And that's what she said. She put on
And
3
she knew.
dresses,
She knew.
and she knew instantly.
Yeah.
Like, this is the one.
That's a good point you bring up too. Some girls get very scared of, let's say we put like second or third dress. Well, I can't because I have to go to 27. When you know, you do know.
Yeah.
You do know.
I would think if you look in the mirror and you feel like
Yes.
a rock star and you feel like I could
Unstoppable.
I could walk down the aisle right now flexing and feel
Mhm.
100% comfortable. Like
So.
that's where you should be at.
Yes.
You know, we talked about the guys too now. Like,
Yes,
doing
yes.
them subs up. Get that watch. Get
I
that
love it, don't
custom
you? With the
suit.
guys
Like,
too.
God, when
It's
they
not just
do-
black and brown anymore.
Yeah.
I love it. We
Or
did
gray.
a fashion show earlier this year, and the styles that
Yes.
walked down that runway from this men's
Chef's kiss.
custom
Yep.
clothing designer
Yep.
were so fun.
Mhm.
I loved it. I think that may have gotten some pretty big cheers.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
In
I'm sure.
competition with some of the dresses.
But I love that the guys are starting to get
Take
more
a
involved with
minute.
it because it makes it even more. So I always ask the bride, "What is your fiance wearing?"
Mhm.
You know, and it's
Mhm.
sometimes they're like, "Oh, we didn't think of it," or I had one girl that I was so here for it. You're gonna love this
Mhm.
because I was asking. They were doing a downtown,
Mhm.
very black tie glam,
Yeah.
and she had said her fiance, future husband, wanted a pink crushed velvet
Hey-o.
with a black, right? I was
Yes.
like, I am so here for it.
Yes.
Black lapels, wanted like that James Bond kind of look.
Yeah.
But I love that.
Yes.
Where I'm like, I almost wish I'm like, ooh, how can I make Carrie men's suits here? Because I would be so, I'd be
Right?
like, come on, we'll do both.
That's the
Oh.
whole thing.
But it's that creative piece where it's making the day more authentic, like we talk about the couple.
Mhm.
Not the cookie cutter, not having to invite your, aunt's best friend's dog walker,
Mhm.
just because make it more intentional, make it more about the couple. And
Yeah.
going down the aisle, I always get a little when the bride will come out in something non-traditional, not expected.
Mhm.
And they always get, well, you're gonna look back at your pictures in 10 years and regret that. No, because the dress is you.
Mhm.
Just because it's not a plain satin button,
Yeah.
and I get that. Some people, that's perfect for them.
Mhm,
That's
sure.
what they want. But if you're not, don't let the trend trends are fun.
Mhm.
Trends are great. But it's how you work them in to suit your personality.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If you're not a Bridgerton basque waist fit, like the big, everyone's losing their minds over right now, then that's okay. Even though it's a trend, if that doesn't work for you, I prefer the bride who's open to like, how can we work in some of these
Yeah.
other elements? But yeah, it does. That's where I become the buffer a little more.
Yeah.
When they fall in love with something that's not your typical,
Yeah.
and it happened once, actually more than once with like colored. I'm all here for the color too, love it. And the moms at first were like, "You can't do that." Why? Why?
Why? What's the
Who
where?
says no?
Where
Where's
I
the rule
missed
book?
the rule book
Yeah.
The
somewhere.
only rule book, and I'm sure you agree, is don't wear white to someone's wedding as a guest. That's like the
Oh.
only.
Ron is
I,
like
I had an argument about that.
Oh,
Wasn't
boy.
an argument.
we
Okay.
we fought we had
It-
some
Okay.
chats.
Unless it's a black and white wedding that they say
Sure.
they come with.
Okay, I feel like as long as you are not outstaging the bride, it's okay. But I've also never been
Right.
in
You
your
haven't
shoes.
worn white.
I've never been in your shoes where it's like,
Right.
okay, this is my day. Don't.
Sure. Right.
I think both Molly and I shot you down quickly.
It's
Oh,
a
you
little
did. You
off.
really did.
It's
You
almost,
did.
Yeah.
But it's one of
it
those
is
things.
almost an underhanded. Like it's someone that
Yes.
it's almost like they are trying to without, but you just shouldn't. It's just the one rule.
Yeah.
All the other rules are gone.
Throw them out the window.
Because the bride most of the time is coming down the aisle in some iteration of ivory or white or
You guys made me understand the process more
Yeah.
when we had that conversation.
But I understand where you're coming from. I mean, most people do not want to take away from.
100%.
Or even want like the perception.
The perception.
Yeah.
That's what I was
even
trying.
if
Yes.
it's not like intentional.
Right,
It's like, oh god,
right.
I don't even want her to even think about it for a second.
Right.
Yeah.
So the
for sure.
safe bet, just don't.
Just wear a different color.
Yeah.
They're good.
But that's the only rule I think that exists nowadays. Everything else, it is. I love the non-traditional aspect of it and really working things in. And then the other thing is when they keep going back to, well, it's only one day. I'm only wearing the dress for one day. It says who? Did you see TikTok? People are wearing their dress every year on their anniversary. You know, and everyone's like, well, what if I don't want to cut it short? You don't have to cut it short. Go for your anniversary. You'll get free drinks.
Yeah.
Hey, cheers.
It lives in your photos.
It lives in
forever.
photos forever.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's another thing. But even just repurpose it. It's no longer where when you have it preserved and vacuum sealed in a box. I do a cleaning and preservation now with women who are museum curators.
Wow.
It's not vacuum sealed because they honestly said your garment needs to breathe. They want you to take it out. If you had your dress cleaned and preserved like 40 years ago, you don't even know if that dress was preserved. It's sealed.
Yeah.
You can't get into it until you bust it open. So they encourage my brides to take it out. They have the white gloves with it. If they want to wear it again, just it's the oils in your body that break down, not the air.
Yeah.
So it's all the evolution of things right now, and it's all the education of letting go, because they might not know.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a crazy, but re-wearing, or even the detachable elements, like things you can make the dress. You can have 5 looks in one without spending on 12 different dresses. Just fun elements, and just the evolution of it is crazy right now in a good way, and I'm so here for all of it. So
I love it.
I learned way too much
Ron,
today.
have
My
you
brain's
learned a
kind
lot
of
today?
overloaded right now.
I threw a
but
lot
that's okay.
at you. I'm
That's
sorry.
okay. So the next one I go to, I'll know a lot more.
Ron's going to be sending me. He likes to like send us like Instagram
The things I
random
find.
Yeah.
reels, inspo, whatever it is.
Yes.
I can't wait for all the dress stuff.
Oh, yeah, you're
He's
gonna
now
get-
Get me on your
Okay.
distribution. Sign
Very
me up, because I'm so
aware.
here. I'm all, my whole feed. You know when you click on one thing and then all of a sudden it's
Yeah.
like my whole feed is like puppies and wedding dresses, and I'm like, I'm just.
They must be so afraid now because once they get one, they know like 12 more.
Oh yeah, it's not just
Yep,
the one.
yep.
So-
How about this?
Yeah.
How about this?
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much for spending some time with us
Yeah,
today.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry I
Fun.
can talk you.
That's
know,
okay.
and-
That's what
Great.
we're here
The
for.
podcast is for.
I know, right?
Tell the listeners where they can find you, your socials, your
Yeah.
website, all that good stuff.
Yeah, like I said, you can always start right at the website at brendababebridal.com, a mouthful. That's where I live. The socials, Instagram especially, I'm always looking for more followers. Obviously, get that reach out there. And we can throw a little, like, for your viewers of the podcast, if you use a code unfiltered when you book your appointment, for a limited time, we'll give you a little savings on the booking fee.
Awesome.
That's amazing. Awesome. Thank you so much.
No, thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure. I can't wait to see you folks again. We'll have to regroup
Yes,
and
Yes.
see some of those dresses I was
For
telling you
sure.
about. So.
All right, guys, make sure you're liking and subscribing to this podcast. Make sure you are following Brenda Babe Bridal on all of the socials.
Yes.
You're going to need some inspiration coming soon. So
Yes.
make sure you have it. See you next week.
Bye guys.
Bye, guys. All right.
That was so fun.
Very nice.
I feel like I learned so much.
I definitely did.
Could talk all day. I just love, like, that was on my tongue. I was like, I wanted to be prepared for this, and I hope I didn't, like, overtake
No,
everything,
no,
so.
that was great.
I love talking about things and getting the business out there, but I truly do. I'm telling you, some of these stories I didn't want to get into on there, but I had, in the same week, I had 2 brides lose their moms
Oh.
right before the wedding.